Hey, what's up, everyone? So I just got done doing a cooking some chicken long rice for a video. So I seen someone, I think she's local, but probably not. I don't know if she's Hawaiian or not. But anyways, she was she was demonstrating how to cook chicken long rice. So for those of you who don't know, chicken long rice is it's it's a meal, or it could be a side dish. So for luau's, they serve chicken long rice, and chicken long rice, it's not 100% Hawaiian because there's noodles in there. You know, there's the glass noodles in there, the rice noodles, and so I think it was an adaptation during the plantation era. So in Hawaii, when a child would reach the age of 1, there was a huge celebration. We celebrate because this child, they lived that whole year. You know, back then, it was hard for them to live that first year because they didn't have the medical technology that we do have today back then. It wasn't until, I guess, foreigners were introduced or found Hawaii that Hawaiians started getting sicknesses, and it wiped out a good population of Hawaii. So they would celebrate whenever, like, huge luau. So the term luau actually came from a child's first birthday. Yeah. So all the luau's that you guys attend, that is a replica of a child's first birthday celebration. There are only several reasons, like, Hawaiian families would get together like that, okay? Because it was culture to get together, but there was only several reasons where they would get together and celebrate, like block party, huge party, ho'olaule'a, and first birthdays were one of them. Weddings were another, and at these luau's, there were several staples, and one of them was chicken long rice. So when I seen sister making chicken long rice, and she put like a lot of ingredients that are not in chicken long rice, I kind of had to correct that, because 1, that is my culture. 2, that is part of my history on one side of my family. And 3, I think it's probably right that people should know the actual recipe. Yeah. I went online and I looked up the chicken long rice, and I was like mind blown at how many extra ingredients there are in their chicken long rice. And I get it, everybody has their own preference, okay? But the actual chicken long rice has no garlic. Like, Hawaiian food is very simple but so tasty, simple but so delicious, simple but healthy for you. Okay, that's why at some point, when the population had a large increase of obesity, they reverted back to the Hawaiian diet to help Native Hawaiians get their weight under control, because they realized that the junk food that they were eating were not healthy for them, and it was not helping them. It was actually harming their health. And so they started a program, I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, to change their diet to the Hawaiian diet, the Native Hawaiian diet. And the Native Hawaiian diet, the ingredients are simple. Everything is pretty healthy. I think pork, you find pork in laulau, you find pork, kalua pig, but that's not a staple. That's not the everyday diet of, Hawaii. It's mainly sweet potatoes, the sweet potato greens, kalo poi, chicken long rice, brothy soups, what else? Mainly chicken and beef, and if got lamb, So the foods are very simple. Fish was a big one because, we're surrounded by water. Of course, we're going to be eating fish like crazy, right? So fish was another staple. Limu, or seaweed, that was another thing. A lot of produce, fruits and vegetables. My is banana, and onion. Believe it or not. Like, I don't know when that got introduced, because I know like Hawaii never have onions. But I know our family, from my ohana, we would eat like raw onions, like the yellow onion, not yellow onion, but sweet round onion, and we'd cut it. My dad would cut them up, and we'd eat it with pa'akai, or Hawaiian salt. It's not table salt. You can't eat it with the table salt because it's just gonna be nasty. But if you you eat it with the pa'akai, so the Hawaiian salt, the big grains, and you dip it into the salt, and you'd eat whatever it is you're eating, especially if you're eating rice. If you're eating raw fish, lomi o'io, lomi ahi. Lomi ahi is a new thing. It's because, you know, the lack of o'io, because our waters have been overfished. But lomi o'io, with all the limu and all that other good stuff inside of it, ho'oio, which is a fern, so it's like a boiled fern, and you add a lot of other ingredients like fish cake and opai. Opai is like tiny shrimp that they tiny sea shrimp that they would find in the opai, near the ocean, near the seashore. So I don't eat shrimp, so I don't eat any of that. but when I did, it was good. It was ono. And we don't eat the opai raw. I know there's certain cultures where they eat the opai raw, and you know, funny story. So I was at a family gathering on my mom's side, and there was this whole table of just food, and you know, like this buffet style, and we were walking through, and I seen like shrimp, and the opai looks red. So the opai is about there's the teeny tiny little shrimp, and they looked red, so I thought they were cooked, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, shrimp. So I point to the shrimp. My mom gives me the shrimp, and I sit down and I pop the shrimp in my mouth, and then I feel something moving. So I spat the shrimp out, and that sucker was alive. And I was like, ew, ew, oh my god, I that's disgusting. I was sick for the rest of the night. Yeah, I didn't eat after that. I didn't trust food. I didn't trust food after that. I was like, it looks like it is, but I'm not sure. So I just stuck to what I knew until one day my dad said, hey, you know what? You gotta try new things. You can try everything in life at least once. Yeah, and so I did. You know, that became my philosophy. My dad's teachings became my philosophy. Try everything at least once. And you know, I think that was one of the best advice that I ever got. You know, you live and you learn, but you make good memories. So, yeah, the only thing, I mean, now I have like a dietary restriction because, you know, I try to follow the kosher diet as best as I can. I don't regret it. I'm not eating raw shrimp. You know what I'm saying? Things crawling in your mouth. So that was a plus. So I just made some chicken long rice, and I took some video footage of that, and I'm going to cut it up, dissect it, and try to make it nice as best as I can for you guys, so you guys can learn how to make the chicken long rice. There was one thing that I did do wrong with the chicken long rice but it's because I prepped my green onions, and it wasn't for chicken long rice. So I got a bunch of green onions, and I cut them up. I sliced them up. So with chicken long rice, you don't want the tiny little, you know, slices, those little pieces. You want 2-inch cuts. So it has to be about this long, the length of my finger right here. So that's how long they should be when you make chicken long rice. You want the stalks to be, the leaves to be that long, and you want a handful of that, and just put it into the chicken long rice after you turn everything off. You turn the heat off, and you add the noodles, turn the heat off, add the green onions. You let it sit, and then you stir it. So this chicken long rice that I made for you guys, it has the little slices of green onion, and that's not what you want. That's for the garnish after you put it in the tray, after you put it in a bowl to bring to the table. Most often Hawaiian families, we don't do that. You go to the stove and you serve yourself. Unless it's a luau or a party, then we'll put it in a pan, make it all nice. But other than that, if you're family, you walk in, you make your rice, you go to the stove, you make your food, sit down on the table, we all talk stories and eat. So I'm gonna try it. This is what it looks like. I'm using my chopsticks. Normally you don't do that. But because this is noodles, I am going to use my chopsticks. And it looks like my long rice absorbed all my soup, my broth. So I'm just gonna eat it like this. Yeah. That's too big of a chunk for me. So, yeah, that's too big. Perfect. You want that, excuse me, sorry. So you want that hit of ginger, and you want the taste of the pak hai, the sea salt. It should all be well, the ginger shouldn't be overbearing, but you should be able to taste the ginger. There's no garlic in there. Okay. I think what she made was it was pork watercress or maybe chicken watercress, you know, because when you make chicken watercress stir fry or when you make chicken watercress soup, then you add garlic, you add shoyu or soy sauce, you add ginger, and you add, you know, some sugar. And that right there, you see that recipe, those ingredients right there, that is the I think that is the base ingredients for practically every Asian soup. When, of course, chicken broth, but well, yeah, I think that's the base. I think when you get into Nihongo or Japanese, they use more dashi, so bonito. But for Chinese, local Chinese anyway, because it's like a mesh of different ethnicities, right? I think pork watercress came from the Chinese plantation. Yeah, I think that's where it came from. Pork watercress came from Chinese or Korean, one of them. But but the base ingredients for those types of soups and dishes and stir fries is always 1, shoyu, 2, ginger, garlic, and 4, some sugar or some type of sweetener. That's the base ingredients for Asian stir fry. But when it comes to chicken long rice, it is very simple. When it comes to Hawaiian food, it is super simple. There's nothing there. It shouldn't be complex. It's very simple food for your stomach, and it's very healthy for you. You want to get rid of the skin. I left a bit of the skin in there. I didn't, but the other 2 pieces, I took the skin out. Anything that was like really looked fatty, I took that out. And of course, you're gonna take out some of the fat that's on the top, and definitely the scum. But you want to keep it simple. Hawaiian food is super simple. You go to a luau, lomi salmon is simple. Those are only 4 ingredients. Chicken long rice is simple. That's only 4 ingredients. 5 if you count the water. yeah. 5 if you count the chicken, all right? And then 6 if you count the water. But we don't do that, right? Poke is super simple. Everything that you guys are eating in the poke right now is not really poke. That's Asian fusion. But Hawaiian poke is super simple, real simple, real easy to digest. And and the starches are not that complex. You know, you have rice, and the rice came from plantation days. Days prior to that, it was uala or sweet potato or kalo, taro. Easy peasy. You make lau lau. The traditional lau lau, I think they have pork in it, but then like I said, they rarely ate pork. They would only eat pork during celebrations, and that's why lau lau has, you know, that the pork in it. But if you use like steak, a good quality, yeah, you want to use depends on what kind of steak you use. You want some steak with some fat content so that you don't have to add more fat. You know, you see people buying the chuck roast or the big roast, and they cut that up, and then they have to add fat, and that's where they get the pork fat, you know, and it's very unhealthy for you. For me, when I make my lau lau, it's not different. I try to make a healthier version without the pork fat. But anyways, stay tuned for my video, my recipe. Hopefully I do a good job with the editing. I'm not that great. But with voiceovers, but we'll see what happens, right? So yeah, be on the lookout for my chicken long rice recipe and my chicken long rice video. And I'm also gonna post what her chicken long rice looked like. Okay, it looks good. Hey, I'm not bashing, sister. Matter of fact, it looks really good, but that's not chicken long rice. That is watercress, chicken watercress with long rice in it. So just so that you know, y'all don't get mixed up and be like arguing with a Hawaiian person who actually makes that on a daily basis, or maybe on a weekly basis, or maybe, you know, at least once a month. So you know that you're not correcting someone who actually is making it the traditional way, the actual way. You know, chicken long rice is simple. Her chicken watercress and long rice looks yummy, but that's not chicken long rice. That is a different recipe. And I think it's important that you know the difference between the two. Not bashing, sister, because it actually looks good. I think I'm going to try it one day because it looks really good. But, you know, traditionally, chicken long rice is very simple. 5 ingredients. That's it. So with that, love, peace, and aloha. Check you guys later.